Hey everybody, Ragni here, and welcome back to another episode of the Rock and Ragni Show. I got another killer interview here for you, but real quick, I want to say a little thank you to everybody tuning in for the last few episodes, the debut episodes of the Rock and Ragni Show. Also, thanks to the peeps over at bravewords.com for sharing out our last two interviews with Gus G and Greg Chason of Kings of Dust, and I have a feeling I'm going to be sharing this one out as well. The one and only Ron Keel makes his return. I've got the chance to interview him a couple times over the years. This is actually, I think, my third time interviewing Ron, and it's really cool when here's a guy who first time I saw him in concert was 35 years ago, and it was a concert that truly changed my life. And I always bring this show up to Ron every time I interview him, so it's something cool to talk about that we reminisce about. It's an old concert in Philly that he played. But that was not the reason for the interview. The reason is he's got a new album out. It's called South by South Dakota, and it's a tribute album. It's a cover album where he does tribute to all the Southern rock heroes. So check it out. You can go to ronkeel.com to get it, and it's going to be coming out digitally soon. But first, there's physical copies out there, so get those physical copies. Yeah, a lot of good deals going on. He talks all about how to get the deals, how to get the specials, and a really cool packaging to go along with it. So make sure you check it out. And without further ado, here he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Ron Keel.
Hello, hey. Ron Keel reporting for duty.
How you been, man?
I'm fantastic, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. So it's always a pleasure to talk to you and catch up, man.
I feel the same way, man. I appreciate the opportunity and the coverage. It's very cool.
Besides this whole crazy pandemic that's going on, one of the big things I'm really bummed about was you were going to be at Rockin' Pod this year, and I was going to get the chance to meet you.
That is a bummer, man. And that's what a great event. I certainly enjoyed it a couple of years back. Couldn't make it last year because of our touring schedule, but I was really looking forward to that trip to Nashville and hanging with all the rock star buddies and people like you and the podcasters and broadcasters. A great event. And I know that it'll be back in 2021, bigger and better than ever. We'll just have to wait a little longer to get that handshake and a beer. But, man, I look forward to seeing you there next year.
Absolutely. And the scary part was last year was the first one I went to and was part of. And it ended up changing my life to where I ended up moving to Nashville afterwards.
Wow. Good
for
you, man. So
yeah.
welcome to Music City. That's certainly one of my hometowns, always will be, and I've got nothing but great memories and good times where any chance I can come back to visit for business or just to see my friends. I love that town and what it's all about.
Yeah, it's really I never thought I would end up leaving Philly. I always said, you do all these interviews and you talk to people and you always hear the story of either, somebody moving to LA or New York to follow their dreams, and I was just like, wow, that's ballsy. I can never do that. And at 49 years old, I did it. I was like,
wow, good for you, man. Good for you. Congratulations. Hope it works out. I moved to Sioux Falls, South Dakota to follow my dreams. So, here I am, living it and loving it in the wild, wild Midwest. I came to Sioux Falls 5 years ago to be the leader of the Badlands House Band. This is a huge $70 million pawn shop, concert venue, radio station, and I was the face and the voice of that franchise. The business didn't last, but the band is still alive and well. We just rebranded it as the Ron Keel Band. Now with the new album out, and it's been one hell of a ride. I love Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I miss Nashville, Vegas, Hollywood, all those music towns where I grew up and where I lived for so long. But I think I'd like to think that I brought a little bit of all of those towns to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. A little Nashville, a little Hollywood, a little Vegas, and it's been really good to me and my wife here in the wild Midwest. And I'm 5 minutes from the airport. If we ever can tour again, I'll be first in line.
Yeah, this whole situation is just crazy. Which I saw sparked an amazing video that I saw. I guess it was about a week and a half ago, where I guess you were supposed to be part of a benefit with the Pink Ladies, who was a big part in helping your wife through her cancer battle, and you went to, I guess, the head of the Pink Ladies' house and performed in her driveway.
That's correct. Yeah, it was the first cancellation that we had. And these people are amazing. They've raised millions of dollars for local families dealing with cancer, all kinds of cancer, all kinds of families. And they're absolutely tireless and relentless, and they give and give and give. And I do the event every year because it's a cause that's very near and dear to my heart.
Sure.
And they were so sweet and so supportive of Renee, my wife, when she was battling cancer. And it was the day of the gig, and obviously there's no show. The event's not going to happen this year. So I grabbed the guitar and I got in the truck and I went to her house and surprised her. She didn't know I was coming. She did. I called and made sure. I said, Nancy, I've got a gift for you. I'd like to drop it off in the driveway. If that's all right, you going to be home? She goes, yeah. I said, well, text me your address if you don't mind. I'll just drop this gift off in the driveway and we'll be on our way. So little did she know that the gift was me with a guitar singing for her. She's so sweet. It was a cool thing to do. It made me feel really good anyway. So we tried to do those house calls. Did one a couple of weeks back where I had a fan who this guy lives, what is it, 134 miles away in the middle of nowhere, in South Dakota, nowhere. And he's super nice guy. He's a biker. We see him at the bike events where we play and such. He was going on Facebook about, man, I really wish I had a guitar. I'd like to sit around a campfire and play some chords. I just really want a guitar, right? And I've got more guitars than I could count. So I put a guitar in the car, drove up there to his house, and surprised him. He didn't even act surprised, like, hey, man, what's going on? I was like, guitar, I'm giving you one of my guitars. And he's like, oh, cool, thanks. But he's just that kind of guy. He doesn't get super excited. He's excited now because he's on Facebook every day asking questions and how, he's practicing and he needs this and he wants that and whatever. We drove all the way up there, 330 miles round trip, just to give the guy a guitar and to see a smile put on his face. This week, I'm doing house calls around the Sioux Falls area. Anyway, I'm not driving that far. I just don't have time right now because I'm doing interviews with people like you. But I'm doing house calls instead of shipping the new CD, South by South Dakota. If it's a buyer or a fan or a consumer that lives, in a decent radius of Sioux Falls, don't tell them I said this because that's a surprise. I'm coming to their house with the CD and I'm going to drop it off in the driveway. We'll keep our social distancing, but I'm going to be making some house calls, delivering the new CD to all the Keelaholics here in South Dakota.
That's amazing. It's funny. It's like at this point in time, like it's not a bad idea. It's a great marketing little ploy. If you're in the immediate area, like I will house deliver your CD for you.
Yeah, but they don't know that, so don't tell them. Don't. I'm sure they're all going to listen to this. When is this going to broadcast? I know you're recording this for a later date, but hopefully by the time you broadcast this, I will already have made those house calls.
Maybe I'll hold it off till Monday.
That's cool, man. No sweat. You play this anytime you want to. I'm sure my fans will be listening. It's probably not going to be that much of a surprise to them. These fans here in South Dakota know how I roll. And they're probably all sitting outside in the driveway right now waiting for me to show up. But I'll be there soon. I've got so many to autograph. The response has been incredible to this new South by South Dakota record. It almost felt bad releasing new music and asking people to buy it, because so many of our fans and friends and families, they're out of a job. They're collecting unemployment. It's scary out there for all these people. And I hate asking them to buy my products. And I kind of made that clear when I launched the thing. I didn't want to postpone the release. I wanted to give them some new music, and I'd give it to them if I could. It is a bargain for only $17.98 for the fan pack bundle. But you get a guitar pick, a sticker, an autographed poster, a CD, the whole deal. So, I tried to make it as economical as possible in the online store at ronkeel.com. We've taken the price of this one down as far as we can to make it a little more affordable for all the fans out there that are having a hard time during this pandemic.
Yeah, it's I'm one of the people, like I go my job a month ago. They were just like, we have no more work. When work comes back, we'll call you back. But yeah, so I've been just chilling at home for the last month, which I'm not.
Yeah, me too.
I'm enjoying it. Like, and for a person like you, and I'm guessing that, people like your peers and stuff, like I totally expect an explosion of new music to happen in the next 6 to 9 months. And I'm not talking about babies and stuff. I'm talking about true music. I'm
sure you're right. A lot of my friends and my peers are using this time to to write and create new music. I'm no exception, except I got to promote this new record. I just got a new record out I got to promote, which is a huge task. We've got a music video coming out. We're filming this video, finishing up the shoot tomorrow. But the video for Red, White, and Blue, the first single from South by South Dakota, due to the pandemic and social distancing, we're practicing musical distancing by filming each band member in a separate iconic South Dakota location. For instance, my footage was done at Mount Rushmore. So I'm in front of the president's, the big rock. You know, it's pretty epic. The bass player's on top of a Kenworth truck to salute our trucking industry that's keeping the wheels turning during this difficult time. The drummer is set up in front of a fighter jet. We've got the drums set up on there's a fighter jet sitting right behind him to salute our military. So each guy in a different iconic location. And so that's a huge operation, getting all the, trying to keep the crew in the truck, and everybody's trying to work, but they've got to stay 6 feet apart. I want to play by the rules and all that, but so that's a huge responsibility. And I'm a control freak. I'm actually running the camera half the time, and I've got, it's my vision. I've got to see it through. The promotions, the interaction that I do every day with the fans online on my members platform, patreon.com/Ron Keel. That's a member site where you pay 23 cents a day, and you can get exclusive audio, video, interaction, live video chats, guitar lessons, all kinds of stuff that I do for the fans, my hardcore group of Keelaholics. And if you're interested in checking that out, I would hope that your listeners will just see what it's all about at patreon.com/Ron Keel.
Yeah, I was wondering how's that work out for you? Because I got turned on to that site like a couple years ago from like a very small local band that was using it, and they were pretty successful with it, and I was really blown away. So, I mean, how's it working out for you?
It's fantastic, and in so many ways, it's just it's like my own private social media platform where fans can post their comments and they can listen to the stuff that they can watch Keel concerts from 1984. There's a lot of stuff on there you're not going to find on YouTube or Facebook. And that's the hardest part. As a musician, as somebody who creates content, you want to give it away. You write a new song, you want the world to hear it. And that's the hardest part, is keeping it under wraps for the special group of fans that are paying that membership price. But, if you pay $6.99 for a membership, I'm going to give you a $10 discount on your fan pack bundle for the new CD. I don't make a whole lot of money from it, but it pays for itself, and it's a great way for me to interact with the fans that have really supported me and kept me alive all these years. So it is a fantastic. I love it. I actually built this thing a couple of years ago when my wife was going through cancer. Okay. And all of a sudden, when cancer strikes, you never know if it's a life changer. I didn't know if I was going to be able to tour again or travel or go back on the road. I had to spend a year at home with her. Didn't have to. I had the honor and privilege of caring for her during her chemotherapy, radiation treatments, 9 surgical procedures during her battle with cancer. And I thought, man, I've got to find a way to entertain people from home. And luckily, at this point, when we're all stuck at home, it's really paid off, because the membership is at an all-time high, and the content is, frankly, at an all-time high, because I'm able to do more and offer the fans exclusive music videos, behind-the-scenes stuff, a lot of songs and videos and stuff that you're just not going to find anywhere else, plus the live online video chat where we all get together and we hang online together. And I sing and play and answer questions, and we just kind of hang out together in that Patreon platform. So it has been fantastic for me, and I'm glad that I was, kind of ahead of the curve in setting up the live audio video home entertainment platform because my wife had cancer. So when we're stuck at home, it's perfect for me, and we're starting to see those cancellations now, and the Canadian tour is canceled, and the Memorial Day dates are canceled, and we'll see what happens with the Sturgis Bike Rally. Who knows? But in the meantime, you can find me online. There's links to all this stuff social media, videos, the Patreon platform, all that can be found at ronkeel.com.
Now, how about that? Like, you mentioned you have this whole setup going on at home, where now you're seeing with the pandemic, a lot of musical artists are getting up there. So I see some like on a daily basis are getting up there and doing like a Facebook Live, and they'll do like a little half-hour concert or longer, and they'll do like a kind of like a storytellers type thing, question and answer, and then they put their little PayPal or Venmo tip jar up there, and that's another way for artists to make income now.
Yeah, and I support. They have the right to rock. They have the right to do whatever they want to do or feel compelled to do, and I've seen some amazing performances on that platform on Facebook Live or the iHeart thing a couple of weeks back was amazing. And some people though just shouldn't. There's a lot of hacks out there just because they have an iPhone, and they're stinking it up pretty good. So just like anything, you're going to have to look for the good stuff. I've got a few that I could recommend, but just these guys that are friends of mine that I love their music, and when they do an online broadcast on Facebook Live, I'll be there. I'll be in the chat room. I'll be watching, listening, and I'll probably throw a 20 in their tip jar. So it's a great way for these musicians to support themselves. I want to make sure that my quality is maintained. This song that I posted yesterday, I'm really, really super proud of it and super happy with it. On the Patreon page, and it was a song that I just woke up and, man, I'm gonna cut this song today, and I recorded it in my live, just being the guitar, and posted it on Patreon. I'm really happy with the way it came out.
That's awesome. So we should not expect any Facebook Live from you then?
Probably not, unless everybody wants to come over and trim my trees, cut my grass, and fix my car. They can work for me for free if they want to. And I'm not, it's the principle of this thing, and we've got to stand up for it. And it's not like it's a tough thing to charge people for your craft, but I spent a lifetime. I've given everything to music and my business. And, I want to get paid for my gigs. I won't walk on stage until I get paid. If we're doing any type of concert event, that check's going to have to be in my pocket before I walk on stage. That's just part of the deal, man. This is a job. This is my work. It is my craft and my passion as well. But if you don't want to pay for it, that's cool. I'm not forcing it down anybody's throat. But the customers that do pay for it, they deserve what they get, man. They get all the cool stuff. They get all of me. Ron Keel, music, video. They can listen to my radio show on demand. They can watch my concerts from 1984 on through today. And part of the reason musicians are playing for tips is because of Facebook and YouTube. And I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to put out a tip jar. It's not going to happen. So that's just how I feel about it. And I appreciate the fans that are supportive, because the fact is, if I was at the bar next to these guys or girls, they would insist on buying the next round. Oh, I got this. Ron Keel, what do you want? I'm buying a drink. Buy the Metal Cowboy a shot and a beer, and that's going to be more than $7.
Right.
If you buy me a beer at the bar, why don't you just buy me one right now? Because you can subscribe to my Patreon for $6.99. You get a whole month worth of cool stuff, and it's only going to cost you $7, the same price that shot in that beer. Because I'll drink those really quickly, and then I'll be gone. You'll be buying me another round. So I think the Patreon platform is extremely economical for the tequilaholic in all of us.
You brought up something there, and it was kind of like I remember like when the light switch went off in my head. It was probably like 20 something years ago, like the late 90s, when you were starting to see like a lot of the bands from the 80s generation are coming around, and they're playing these small clubs, and there's like a couple hundred people there, and then you hear like people in the crowd like, I can't believe like I saw this band like playing the Spectrum or wherever, in front of 15, 20,000 people, and now they're playing here in front of 200. And then it like went off in my head one night, and because they were like, I can't believe, why are they still bothering to do this? And I'm like, this is their job. I'm like, it clicked in my head, like, because growing up, looking up to you guys, you don't think of it as it's your job, but in the reality of it is that it is your job. That's your job. This is your career.
Well, if I could, you know, I would sing for free. I'd be singing somewhere anyway. Job, it is work. I don't know if it's a job or not, but it is work, and I love it. And that's why we do that, because it's who we are and what we do. And a lot of times we do it without getting paid. I contribute to a lot of charity activities. I perform at a lot of benefits. I will auction off my personal memorabilia to contribute it to someone else. When Oz Fox from Stryper was battling, and Oz is still battling, by the way, but when he was diagnosed with the I don't want to misdiagnose him, but two spots in his head. Mm-hmm. And Oz is a dear friend of mine since back in the day. Oz Fox and I consider him a true good friend and a good man. And he was, he's hurting. We auctioned off the original Right to Rock album cover artwork, the original artwork for the Right to Rock album. I think we got $1,400 for it. I sent it to Oz. So it's not, for me, it's not all about the money. It's the principle of the thing. Sure. And I would be playing a club for nobody. And I have, even recently. It doesn't matter to me if there's one person there or 10,000 people there. Absolutely does not matter. I hate for the promoter to lose his ass. I hate for Ron Keel to lose his ass, because I got a band and a crew to pay. But man, it doesn't matter who's out there, how many are out there, we're going to give you the show of a lifetime. We're going to go out there and play it like it's our last gig. And you're not going to ever see me or my team go through the motions. We're going to deliver the goods. If we have the chance to play for 200 people tomorrow, man, we'd be there.
Nice. So the new album, South by South Dakota, so it sounds like this was already in the works and this was set up to be released. It wasn't like something like, with the pandemic's going on, let's kind of, rush the release right now or anything like that. This was like already set in stone.
Absolutely. We had the release date planned long before the pandemic, and we, for a minute, considered postponing the release, but it's a great time to put out new music. People need music, especially these songs and these recordings. Right now, it's perfect timing for this, because it's all we can do. Right. I even felt bad, promoting the record and doing interviews now like this with you, and we're online pushing the record, and the sales are great. The response has been incredible, but I feel bad asking people to shell out their hard-earned money, especially in times when people are out of work or struggling. And it was a struggle for me to promote the record and put it out there. And the response has been incredible. And this is the first album that I've ever done that I could absolutely brag about how great the songs are. Every song on this album is absolutely killer. And I can say that because I didn't write any of these songs. These are iconic Southern rock classics from the American Songbook, one from each of those legendary bands. We've got a Skynyrd song, Molly Hatchet, Outlaws, Blackfoot, 38 Special, Marshall Tucker Band, Allman Brothers. And so we've taken one song from each of those heroes and made it our own, sort of Keelized some of these tunes. And it's also the first album, that I didn't even expect it to be an album. It was totally unplanned, kind of like a child, all of my previous children were planned out. I mean, you're on a mission. You're going to go in the studio. We're going to record these songs. We're going to make an album. You got a game plan. This time we were in the studio doing last year's album, Fight Like a Band. And as we would get there in the morning, we'd warm up with some of our favorite Southern rock tunes, just jamming. And then at the end of the day, after a couple of beers, we'd wind down by jamming some tunes. My producer, Mike Dresch, was recording everything. And one day we're sitting around and play that back for me. And we listened to it and realized we got something really special here. It's got energy. It's got some kind of special quality to it, because it is just a bunch of guys in the studio having fun and playing songs they love. And we weren't on a mission to make a record at all. And then after about 4 or 5 songs, I was nice. Well, this is an album. This is the foundation for a great Southern rock tribute album. What else do we need? Or what else can we include? So songs like Red, White, and Blue from Lynyrd Skynyrd, which is the first single. Don't Misunderstand Me, the duet with Jasmine Kane. Originally a Rossington Collins song, and that was the band that formed out of the ashes after Lynyrd Skynyrd's fatal plane crash in the 70s. Gary Rosington, Alan Collins and company put together the Rosington Collins Band, which was the first taste we got from the ex-members of Skynyrd, after Skynyrd, after the plane crash. And so it's a pivotal record in Southern rock history, and that was the signature single, big hit song off that record. And it's a duet with a male-female back and forth, and I chose Jasmine Cain, who is Miss South Dakota rock and roll. I mean, this chick was born at the Sturgis rally, during the rally in Sturgis, South Dakota. It doesn't get more rock and roll redneck biker rock than her. She's absolutely amazing. We've done a bunch of gigs together because we all do those biker festivals like Sturgis and the Lone Star Rally down in Galveston and Daytona Bike Week and Biketoberfest and all this stuff. So we do a lot of bike events together, and she got up on stage in Sturgis, South Dakota last year at the rally and sang Don't Misunderstand Me with me. And I was like, okay, let's cut it. And we did, and the results are incredible. So they're really proud of this collection of songs, what they mean to me and the guys in the band, and now what they're meaning to some of the people that are sitting out in their yard right now by the mailbox waiting to get their CDs. Some of these fans are too young to even have grown up with this stuff. And I'm very proud of that new generation. We've got fans that are in their 20s, in their mid-20s, a lot of them, that come to a lot of the shows, and they don't know who Keel was. They don't remember some of these songs. They didn't grow up listening to Train from Blackfoot or the Allman Brothers' Ramblin' Man. The first time they heard those songs was when we were playing them. And that means a lot to me, too, that we can pass on some of this iconic American rock and roll history to the new generation of fans.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, and even like the whole story, like when I was reading about it, I'm like, that's really cool how this whole thing came about. I mean, it was purely by accident. Like, it was nothing like, how long till you actually heard those recordings? Well, like, did you know that, like, recently after he recorded them, or was it like something like in the last year, like, that just came unraveled? Like,
no, it was during the sessions. It was during the Fight Like a Band sessions, as we were recording that album. You know, I knew that we had recorded some of the jams and listened back to them at that time, and then little by little, when I had a chance, I would go back in and overdub a new lead vocal on some of that stuff, because some of it was not my best work. I didn't think we were recording. I'm just jamming. You know? Right. So then you go back in and you redo some of the lead vocals with more focus, and you're under the microscope, and you're trying to deliver what I call a master vocal. And we redid some of the Yeah, we overdid it, all right. We redid some of the guitar solos, and some of the stuff is even the live Creedence track. That's a live track. There's no overdubs on that. That's our Creedence medley from the show, and it's got Bad Moon Rising, Fortunate Son, and Born on the Bayou. And this is what we do during the gig. We'll take a little bits and pieces of these songs from Skynyrd or Creedence Clearwater Revival or Marshall Tucker Band 38 Special. And we'll create these medleys for 12 minutes. We'll treat you to a little tribute, so to speak, of some of these acts. That way we're not a cover band. We're not doing songs. We're not doing cover songs. We're doing these little tributes throughout the show. And when we play for 20,000 people at Sturgis who don't know or care who Ron Keel is, they're going to get a great show. They're going to get entertained. They're going to hear the songs they know and love. And it's been our way of incorporating those songs into the show. So that Creedence medley on South by South Dakota is an actual live recording of that piece of the show on our very first gig. I mean, that's the first time we were ever on stage together. So it's a pretty special memory, and great to have that included as part of the South by South Dakota album, and a couple of songs that we recorded and released in recent years. Ghost Riders in the Sky, produced by Henry Paul from the Outlaws, and Homesick. These were two Southern rock songs that we had already released as singles, had them in the can, but they've never appeared on an album before, and they are, again, part of that Southern rock songbook that needed to find a home on this new album, South by South Dakota.
That's amazing. That's a hell of a story, man. You know, I went to somehow I didn't get an advance copy of this, and I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm like, all right, it came out the 24th, and I go on Spotify, and it's not there, and it's not there digitally anywhere. So where is that? Are you like holding it off for now, or?
Yes, absolutely, we're holding it off. That's smart. That's brilliant marketing right there. But if you buy the CD from me at ronkeel.com, I'll send you the free digital download with a bonus track that's not even on the record, and an autographed CD with an autographed poster and a guitar pick. Yeah, so I think it's brilliant marketing. It will come out on Spotify and iTunes and all that. You got to do that in a couple of weeks. But and yeah, it is about, some of it is about money because we put a lot of money into it. I mean,
Sure.
that Fight Like a Band session, where even though we were just jamming, the studio time was not free. So, the band's got to get paid, the crew's got to get paid, and the manufacturing costs alone on this thing. I mean, this is an 8-panel booklet with a fold-out poster. You know, the artwork is incredible, beautiful artwork from Cassor, a French artist. This guy lives in the middle of nowhere in the south of France, right? And I found this piece of art that's the album cover, this apocalyptic train that's on the front of the album. I loved it. I thought, I got to have this for the album cover, right? So I had to track down the artist. It took a while to track it down. And then when I finally got in touch with him, he goes, "Oh, Ron Keel, I'm a huge fan. I grew up listening to Keel music. I love this. I wanted to work with us and knew who I was and let us license his beautiful artwork for the album cover, the photography as well. I mean, just look at the pictures on this album. That photographer is extremely expensive. So yeah, we got to make our money back in a couple of weeks. Then we'll put the thing out on Spotify and iTunes. Everybody can, because the Spotify, you know what that pays, right? You know what it pays a guy like me.
Not even a penny.
You're looking at 3 cents.
Right.
I've got a royalty check on my desk right now for 3 cents. And I'm not alone. All of my peers are going through the same thing. And if you're smart and if you do things right, and I'm not trying to rip off anybody, you're going to get the record on Spotify.
Yeah.
All you Spotify customers, you're going to get it in a couple of weeks. If you want it on iTunes, you can get it in a couple of weeks. But right now, it's all about the CD and the digital downloads, man. I'll send you one myself, the whole album and the bonus track. But you just got to buy a CD. Buy the CD. There's a reason why everybody is really excited to sell 10,000 albums these days.
Right.
Because back in the day, we sold 90,000 Right to Rock albums the first week, and we didn't even chart, man. We didn't even crack the Billboard Top 200 with 90,000 albums. Nowadays, if you sell 20,000 albums,
you're number one.
Debut at number one.
How scary is that?
Yeah, it's just a different. But I'm making more money off an album sale now than I was then. Because back then, I think we made $0.25, and then you had to split that with the guys in the band. Literally, when we had records on the charts, it was financially. We were living the dream. We were playing Madison Square Garden with Bon Jovi. It was really cool, but we were making a whole lot of money. And at this stage of the game now, we've figured out smart marketing where we can sell online. We can sell at the shows if we ever have shows again. And you can make a living doing this and take care of your family, pay your mortgage, and, hopefully leave something behind for the kids and the grandkids. When it's all said and done, I'd like to take care of the people I love. I don't need nothing, man. I got plenty of guitars. I did a $20 bill in my pocket, a bottle of whiskey, and a new tattoo. Other than that, I'm fine.
What the hell was I going to say? Oh, damn. Total brain fart.
Oh, you mean you don't have the questions all scripted out, man? Come on.
You know what? I do, but, sometimes you go off. Yeah, I listen to what you're saying and I expand, but, all right.
Yeah,
well,
I get it, man. I do it all the time. I love that interview process, but as you could probably tell, I'm enjoying being on the other side of the microphone now for years. I'm always interviewing other rock stars for my radio show, and I love that process. But when it comes time for me to say my piece, man, obviously I got some stories to tell.
Well, actually, I just the other day I interviewed one of your old friends who went through which I was shocked I didn't realize how bad it was, a very serious cancer scare a few years back where he was basically given a death sentence and told he had like 8 to 10 months to live. Greg Chason.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, but when he had hooked back up with Jakey Lee, that's why he ended up leaving the band. Like he told the press it was because he had to go back to work, something with his job. But the reality of it was he had cancer and he was told he had 8 to 10 months to live. And that's why
Oh my God.
Yeah. So he just, he had this band he was working on at the time too, and everything got pushed aside, and they just released the album last month. But he's doing the same thing. Like, he's not putting it putting it out digitally, CD only, and he said he's going to keep it like that for like 6 months.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be some changes in the business. There always are. And the one thing about the music business and entertainment in general, it's always evolving and changing. So many factors have bearing on that, whether it's the technology, like the internet, that changed everything, man. Cell phones changed everything. The economy, just the cultural mindset of the different generations of people, young and old, they all have an effect and a bearing on our business. And now you're seeing the change in companies like Live Nation and Ticketmaster, for God's sake. I mean, it's got to change. It's got to evolve. Every empire will fall at some point, but people are always going to want music, man. They're always going to want to be entertained. You got to find ways to get it to them. And I get the Spotify thing. I get it. I understand if it's a bargain and you get a really cool product for $14, $15 a month or whatever it costs, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. I don't personally subscribe to it because I've got more music in my house and in my head than I could ever possibly listen to. I've got 5 songs blasting in my head right now. 2 of them are songs I'm writing, and the last song that I heard is, so I'm full of music. I will have music nights with Renee where we'll just sit and watch YouTube videos or listen to our favorite albums, and we'll have music nights where it's just about listening. Usually, sometimes it's brand new stuff that we haven't heard. If a new act or a new band grabs us and we're excited about new music, we're going to find it on YouTube, and the artist is going to make 0, and we're huge fans. We'll also buy the album and the DVD and the T-shirt and all that stuff too. And if bands could or would do that, or that's much appreciated from an act like us, as people in the middle ground. That we're not the local guys and playing at the local bar for $400, but we're not Lady Gaga either. We're somewhere in between, and that's the middle class, the musical middle class. I'm not complaining. I'm extremely proud of my accomplishments, and I'm extremely appreciative of every opportunity and every fan, every dollar. But it's not easy, and if it was just me, I wouldn't care. I do have a fierce determination to take care of my wife, my home, my children, my grandchildren. So that's where the business has to take precedent. You've got to be smart about that. And I applaud Greg Tucson. First of all, I had no idea he had cancer. We don't speak. There's been some, I don't know, but unfortunately, I do think the world of the guy. I think he's fantastic. He's a great human being and a fantastic musician. And I'm glad that he's okay. I guess, didn't even realize that he had cancer scare of his own. And so, of course, our thoughts and prayers are with him and his family.
Yeah, which is something I came across too. Your daughter is a stand-up comic.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, yeah. She's got one hell of a sense of humor, like the old man. She's been doing these comedy workshops, and she's been to New York and had her stand-up debut at the Gotham Comedy Club in New York a couple of months ago, and before the pandemic. And I applaud her. I support her no matter what she says or does in her act. She's my little girl, and she could do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. So she could talk about her body parts and her life experiences all she wants, and yes, I will watch, I will listen, and I will hold my breath.
You're crazy.
Yeah, I'm really proud of her. She's awesome. She's really talented. She's a singer-songwriter as well. She plays and sings and writes songs. We've jammed together. We've been on stage together. She's a great daughter, and she's a great mom, and I'm really proud of her and our relationship. She's got a wild side like I do, and she's been all over the world. And I'm proud that those kids, both her and my son Ryan, are amazing human beings, and I'm really blessed that to be their dad. I mean, that's a pretty major accomplishment right there.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was wondering if she wanted to like follow in your footsteps musically, and how did she end up with doing comedy?
I don't know, man. I really don't know. And I support her whatever she wants to do. And I did get a couple of laughs, but she's got some dad jokes that I'm not really pleased with. But all in all, she's a good girl, and she's an amazing human being, and she can say and do whatever she wants to say and do. I'm going to back her all the way.
That's awesome. Now, for the old Keel fans, I saw late last year you guys re-released a couple of the classic albums, Final Frontier and the self-titled one.
Finally got those re-released, remastered, not just re-released, but remastered by Rock Candy Records, who did an amazing job on the mastering. The album sounds like night and day, man. You hear stuff that you didn't even remember was there. So the actual sonic quality of these Rock Candy reissued, remastered Keel albums is incredible. You can buy those on my website. Did I mention that? For autographed for only $20 a pop, $40 for the whole set. But if you're a member at patreon.com/Ron Keel, I'll give you a $10 discount, and you can get them for $30. It's $15 a pop for these classic Keel CDs that we're going for, $50 to $75 a pop on eBay. I know because I bought a ton of them. I would buy them on eBay myself. And so just to have those back in the hands of the fans, and then these people were driving around listening to those Keel records in their car stereos, and now the albums sound great. I want to thank Rock Candy Records for doing an amazing job and getting that product re-released, remastered, and in the hands of the fans who grew up listening to that music.
That's awesome. Classic stuff. So many memories with that music, man. I'm sure you have even more.
I do, and I'm really thankful for those accomplishments of those albums, and what they meant to me and what they meant to a generation of people that grew up listening to my music. It's extremely humbling knowing that you've touched some people's lives in that way and been part of the soundtrack of somebody's childhood or teenage years or their entire life. So I don't take it lightly. I do appreciate my accomplishments and the past. I treasure the past. I live for today. I work for tomorrow because we're all on a one-day contract. You never know what tomorrow brings. Nobody is guaranteed anything. All I can do is live each day to the best of my ability, and so I don't have a whole lot of time to reflect or to look back. I don't listen to the old records a lot. I don't watch the old videos a lot, mainly because I just don't have time. I'm too busy flying the plane. I mean, if I
Right.
take my eyes off the goal for too long, then I'm going to crash the damn thing. And I just got to keep focused on moving forward. Someday that this will all be behind me, and maybe then I'll reflect on it a little bit. I'll have a nice long life and career to look back upon. Right now, I'm looking forward to continuing to promote the new South by South Dakota album, entertain my fans online at patreon.com/Ron Keel, and get the Ron Keel band back out on stage and on the road where we belong.
Absolutely. Ron, this has been, and it always is a pleasure. And I always have to bring this moment in my life up when I talk to you, because it truly was a game changer in my life and really changed my life. And I have to always remind you of that concert you played in Philly in 1985 on the back of a flatbed truck on the corner of 2nd and Chestnut. That moment was such a game changer in my life, and I just always have to thank you for that.
Yeah, what an amazing memory. It was amazing for us too. And I remember just I don't even know how we got to that flatbed, but because the traffic was stopped in all directions, and we were at the crossroads there. You know the address. I just don't remember. It was a huge city street that was blocked off, and as far as you could see in all four directions at that crossroads was people all the way. And I got some pictures somewhere in a bin somewhere in the garage. Just I have photos of that gig. That as far as you could see, there were just a sea of people filling the city streets of Philly.
Yeah.
And they were all there to see us sing and play. And that's just what amazing. Give me chills just thinking about it. Thanks for mentioning that, by the way. Great memory for me and for you as well. And it means a lot to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, man, I was smashed right up against that flatbed, right in
I was
front.
smashed too, by the way.
You know what? The people next to us, I was 15 years old, and the people next to us introduced me and my friends to Yukon Jack that day. And yeah, our life was changed.
Well, no wonder you enjoyed the show. It was a great gig, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
Nice.
Oh, too funny. But Ron, again, thank you, man. Always a pleasure talking to you. Now I'm excited about this new album. Now, when will the video come out?
The video we're wrapping up production this weekend, and we're negotiating with a major media partner for a premiere. So
Okay.
a lot of that's out of my hands. I'm hoping to show it to you and the rest of the world within the next 2 weeks. Obviously, the record's out now, and the video is the next step in promoting it. And it could be the only gig we got this year. So this video is super important to us, and I can't wait to show it to you and the rest of the world. You'll see it, of course, on ronkeel.com and on all the other social media outlets like YouTube and so forth here in a couple of weeks. But we'll make that announcement as soon as the media partner comes together and we get that deal done. It'll premiere on, a major outlet and platform, and then we'll spread it around from there. But Red, White, and Blue, the new video from Ron Keel Bands from the South by South Dakota album. Excited to share it with the world, man. Thanks for mentioning that as well.
Absolutely. And if you ever make it to Nashville after this pandemic, before Rockin' Pod 2021, I think beers and whiskey are in our future.
Let's do it, man. Yeah, I'll be back. As soon as I'm cleared to travel and we can get back to Nashville, I've got a lot of friends like yourself that I want to see. Congratulations on the move, by the way. I think you did the right thing, and I'm happy for you. And it's a great town, man. It's going to be good to you, and you're going to be good for it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And there was more reasons than one. I ended up meeting the love of my life when I came here, and just everything changed in my life for the better. And Nashville has been nothing but beautiful to me. So
that's awesome, man. Fantastic. Well, I hope to make it back soon. If not before Rockin' Pod, then we'll see you then.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ron, man. Take care and congrats on everything.
Thank you. You too.
All right, brother. Later.
Bye.